Welcome to the EMEA Recruitment Podcast, produced in partnership with international medical charity Operation Smile. To support us in our goal of creating 100 new smiles, please donate to this cause at emearecruitment.com/operation-smile. In this episode, we're joined by Ron Veldhuizen, Corporate Director, Capex and Project Management at FrieslandCampina. Having worked at the group or in other divisions for 26 years, Ron explains how he leads through collaboration and listening.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the EMEA Recruitment Podcast in partnership with our good friends over at Operation Smile. As my colleague Rose mentioned, we're delighted to welcome Ron onto the podcast today. So hopefully you can hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So I know obviously it's very difficult to have a podcast these days and not to start the conversation, at least with a discussion on how things have been for you over the last 20 months with all the COVID challenges. I mean, we're recording this at the start of December as Christmas is fast approaching. So, but rather than necessarily focusing on the negatives of the last 20 months, of which there's a number of, try to focus on more of a positive angle. So is there anything that you feel that you've learned about yourself or about life in general over the last 20 months going through the whole COVID situation?
Well, what I've learned, Paul, is to have a better balance between working from the office and working from home. Of course, a bit extreme over the past months was working from home, but I never worked from home. So that has been a change, but also a welcome change. Avoiding traffic 3 hours per day. So on the upside is that experience, and also the experience of being able to connect with multiple countries in the world, with all people having the same medium, instead of the Dutch people sitting in an office space talking over or chatting with their colleagues in Asia. We are all the same, and also making those meetings more efficient.
Well, now you mentioned there that working from home is something was new to you on that side. I mean, what were there any particular challenges you found? Just because I know that a lot of people really found the prioritizing of work and the focus quite tough in the early stages of it. So, did you find that? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Well, I had the same experience initially. So finding the separating your work and your private life sometimes difficult, but we get used to it. We have a lot of guidance and also training from our company on how to deal with the hybrid way of working. So that has helped. Also scheduling hard times to go walking in the lunchtime or in the morning and stopping early enough at night and switching off the laptop. All those things help. And so I've learned to do that. So that's useful learning. And I've managed to cope with that quite well. What has been a challenge with me is that I'm now just over 2 years in my current role, having formed a new team over the past 20 months, basically. So I hardly had face-to-face contact with my new team members. And so that has been challenging.
Yeah, it's not easy to build these relationships, even though as you say, you have the technology of video calls these days. There's nothing can better the meeting in person to build the relationship side of things. So it must have been challenging to go into this relatively new role, build a team, but without seeing people in person. And it was linked actually to one of the first questions I was going to ask you, because I mean, I think your background, as Rose mentioned at the start, is very unique. You don't see very often in the market these days someone who's got that longevity in one business and has held a range of different roles in different divisions and disciplines over that time. So, and now, obviously, in the Director of Capex and Project Management role, I mean, what does it really feel like to be in this position now?
Well, it's a great new challenge. So, as I said, started around 2 years ago on a completely new program that I was able to set up with that new team. It's been a very challenging 2 years with a lot of rewarding successes. So that keeps me going. And this is the story of my career, basically, Paul. I've had the privilege since 26 years ago when I started to continue taking on new challenges, also fulfilling my own ambitions, to really do the things that energize me most. And the company recognizes that leads to results, good results, if people are energized. And as I said, I've been very happy that I changed around many times. This current role still has a lot of challenges for the next years. So I had to promise people to stay on longer at this position before to probably my last job, as I will be retiring in 6 years or roughly.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really interesting, Ron, because you mentioned there the 26 years, the exposure to roles in the area of project management, control, audit, risk, Capex. I mean, there's not much you've not done actually on the finance side over that time. I mean, I guess, you know, because it is unusual in this day and age to see that. I mean, what do you feel has been the benefits to you of staying at such a long time within one business?
Well, the big advantage is, and we're not just one business, so we have different product lines. We are globally present. And what is a big benefit to me in my current role, and also that's one of the reasons why I picked up this role, is I have a great network in the company, whether it's finance directors, it's supply chain directors, people in HR and risk. So I have the unique opportunity of the network and also integrating all these aspects into my current job. So it gives me, certainly something additional that I can bring to this position.
No, that's it. And I think, you know, obviously, when you look at the roles you've had and what you continue to bring to the business, you mentioned a few times about the learning curve that you go through. And I mean, to continue to be able to go through a learning curve as you get more experience, I mean, it's always a big selling point, really, of any opportunity, whether it's internal or external. Everyone wants to be challenged in their next roles. But I guess, you know, if you look back to 1995 when you joined, you probably couldn't have anticipated you'd still be there, you know, in 2021, you know. So I think, you know, one of the things I always like to ask people is, you know, why you chose to go into finance in the first place, or indeed was it a choice you made, or did finance choose you? Because you normally find it's a bit of an unusual story behind someone's decision to choose the discipline in the first place.
Well, it's been since my study. The finance ambition was always there. Also a bit influenced by my father, who worked in the same area, and also picking up finance very easily during high school and university. Being offered attractive first positions in the area of finance. And the first 12 years, or roughly the first 12 years of my career, I've been working in traditional finance roles until I was in charge of all of our finance operations worldwide. And then I discovered I needed something else to give me a new boost of energy, and that has been the path throughout my whole career, is to focus on improving processes, improving organizations, making our company more lean, and this is why at a certain stage, I found out that I needed to change into a complete different area to stay energized.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I think, you know, obviously the energy and the passion behind it is is obviously a really important part of progressing a career and moving it in the right direction. And as we've discussed, you've had a range of senior titles over the career you've had within the business. And so I thought I'd ask you which you found the most rewarding role that you've done, and why was that the case?
Well, it's easy for me to say that all of my positions have been very rewarding. But let me give you one example of where I felt rewarded, energized most. And that is working together with different cultures, improving together with local people the way that they conduct their business, making their processes more effective and efficient, and also being able to develop them as persons and to celebrate the successes together. That has been most rewarding for me.
And again, it's an interesting point, because as you mentioned there, it comes down to the culture of the business and the people you work with, how you can develop them, but also, I mean, ultimately how they can challenge and develop yourself over time as well. And I think, it's always a challenge to get the most from the people around you and to keep them motivated, no more so than the last 20 months as well. So, I mean, do you have a particular management style that you use to get the most out of your team?
Yeah, what I do particularly is to really engage my team as best as I can in developing our visions together and our plans to realize those visions together. So it's really a collaborative management style, to engage them from the start. Then also to give them the freedom and the space to work on their objectives in these programs. And to take more a coaching role than a directive role. So I would say also to my people, I have 2 ears, I only have 1 mouth. So I try to listen more than I say, and see where I can help them with my experience. And what I really enjoy doing is also to give them the credit for the successes that we jointly achieve, but the credits go to them. And that summarizes my style of working with my teams and also with my peers in the business groups.
Hi everybody, it's Paul Thomas here. I hope that you're well and you're enjoying the podcast so far. Thank you once again for your continued support listening to the podcast. I just wanted to break into the recording to talk to you about a really exciting new partnership that EMEA Recruitment has along with Operation Smile. And as founder of EMEA Recruitment, it's an honour and a privilege to announce this partnership. Personally, I was born with a cleft lip and palate, so the mission of Operation Smile is something that I have a strong personal connection with. It's not an understatement to say that the dentists and surgeons that helped me were life changers. It's not only about the actual operations that take place, the support and care post and pre-operation are beyond value, and from personal experience I can only say that I'd not be the confident, happy person I am today without this support. I want to help children experience the support and care and skill that I experienced on my journey, and hope that we can do this along with Operation Smile. Every 3 minutes, a child is born with a cleft lip or cleft palate, and the mission of Operation Smile is to provide help and support to these children through providing 6,000 medical volunteers across 80 countries who are dedicated to help these children with facial conditions, most commonly cleft lip and cleft palate. More than 200,000 children are born with a cleft every year, and they are often unable to speak, eat, socialise or even smile. However, it can take as little as 45 minutes and cost just €180 or 182 francs for Operation Smile to provide a child with life-changing surgery. Now, in partnership with Operation Smile, EMEA Recruitment is raising valuable funds and aiming to create 100 new smiles to support the organisation to provide free surgeries for children and young adults all over the world. Please help us by donating through the link in the bio, or get in touch to see how your company can help get involved too. For the moment, I'll leave you to carry on listening to the rest of the podcast, but if there's anything I can do in terms of answering any questions or finding out how you can help and support EMEA Recruitment and Operation Smile, then please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
No, and I think, it's I think this management style has obviously worked well. I mean, I know a number of people who've worked under you over the years, and they all say very, very positive things about your style, and you're getting the most out of them. And I think, so you're not just somebody who talks about this management style, but you actually do live this style with the team on a daily basis, which is great to hear and to see. And then, I think obviously we're talking about the subject of people, and I think being on a recruitment podcast, we can't really avoid the question of recruitment as well, because I think actually, the reality is, if you find good people, then it makes the management side of things that much easier as well if you get the good people in, but it's not always easy. So I didn't know from your experience over the years if there are any key steps that you've taken in order to make sure it's an efficient and effective recruitment process where you get quality people.
Yeah, what I experienced to do is to really be very open about the job opportunities that we have, to share information, to let people question after, and also in their line of questioning, I discover whether they are good listeners instead of good talkers. And I think what I've learned over the years is that the CV itself is just a small part of what we need to look at. And also in working together with recruiters, I found out that it's extremely important that you have a clear mutual understanding of what really is needed and what drives people most in terms of their energy. And that's often what you don't see in CVs. And so it's really having a good understanding of the character, the personalities that you're looking for, and also in the recruitment process to evaluate at an early stage where the candidates meet that and have the same drive and energy that we expect to make the process efficient as well.
No, that's true. I mean, I think it's one of those things that, as you say, you can't see this on a CV. So to try and get the fit with the drivers of yourself or the future line manager, to try and get the fit with the culture of the business, it is something that is hard to do. Even in if you're just spending an hour with somebody or a few hours with someone, you can never know for sure. But I think having that listening approach, which you mentioned, is something that you'll find you'll get the most out of people when you just ask the right questions and listen to what they have to say in response. And I think obviously one of the challenges I think that people are going through in their own disciplines, but also I think in recruitment at the moment as well, it is with the impact of things like BI and data. I think it's affecting finance as much as it is every other discipline as well. I mean, so do you feel that the impact of BI and data will change the personality profiles that are needed within finance in the future?
I think definitely, yeah. So I think what is very crucial for finance people is to have a deep understanding of the processes behind the data. And the challenge really relies in combining different sources of data to lead to intelligence. So let me give you an example that just looking at pure finance numbers, as many finance people will know, it is important, but it's not really crucial in decision making. Is finding the combination of market intelligence, is finding the information on the typical financial data, but also connecting it with things like production data in my current job and technology. So it's about integrating those insights that leads to intelligence. And it comes also with the experience of people over the years. As I said before, I've had the privilege of working in many different roles, enabling you to do this very well, I believe. And of course, that also then boils down to having the right technology, BI, in place that integrates that all.
No, I think it's interesting because, I mean, obviously, as maybe younger people starting out wanting a career in finance, the discipline is very different, certainly to when I started recruiting finance people 20 years ago, and I'm sure when you entered the finance field as well, the pro, because there used to be at that time where there were quite a number of roles which were the old-fashioned view of an accountant, where you were, in a room doing the numbers and quite separate from a business. That was what a job title of an accountant was almost seen as in those days. Whereas now, you can't really progress your career that far in finance, or if you're not, a business partner, if you're not good with people and dealing with individuals and those types of challenges, every day, so I think, the BI and data side is going to emphasize that even more, especially aligned with what you've been saying there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, obviously, because when you started out, you got the RC qualification at the start of your career. I mean, do you still value that as a qualification, or do you feel that qualification like RA and RC are less of less significance now, maybe on somebody's CV, if they've got the business partnering angle and they've got the strong analytical approach to deal with this increase in BI and data?
Yeah, I think that last is very crucial. But I think it also comes together with the quality of the RC and RA educations, in our case, the Netherlands. And I cannot disqualify the RC education, because actually during my academic study, I was the one with Professor Traas in the Netherlands setting up the first RC program in the Netherlands. So I've worked on the conception. So I cannot judge about the child.
That's it. So it's something that you're obviously very passionate about on that side. I know, some of the other things that we've talked about through the podcast, the thing is that you feel, very strongly and about it and enjoy doing. And I think we've obviously focused quite a lot around, things you do in work and what's brought the success over the years for you on the work side. But I thought just, with a few questions towards the end of the podcast, it'd be quite good just to understand a bit about what you do outside of work. So, we talked about your passions within the business, but outside of work, are the things you really enjoy doing to take your mind off all these things?
Yeah, well, I really love traveling. And of course, the last 20 months have been difficult in that respect, but I love discovering new cultures and new places. I hardly go anywhere twice. So that's what my wife and actually also my kids and I love doing. I've also enjoyed that during my work, working in Africa and Asia, in different parts of Europe, having lived in the UK and in America. So that's a big, important part of my life. Apart from that, well, you cannot see me right now, but I'm not the most lean person, although I'm a lean black belt. I do enjoy fine dining and also fine wines, as my wife. So we are addicted together in fine dining, and also occasionally cooking dinner. Although I must say that's only a small part of my routine.
You have the best part of enjoying it when it's cooked, so that's all good. So you mentioned the travel side. I mean, is there anywhere particular that has stood out to you over the years that has been, let's say, the best place you've been to?
Well, I really am a big lover of Asia and Southeast Asia. And it may have to do with the fact that I'm 25% Indonesian, so I have Indonesian blood in me. My character also is quite Indonesian, and I also noticed that when I'm over there or in any part of southern Eastern Asia, that I feel at home. So it feels like going home, but also I feel a real good connection with the people that I work with. And of course, it offers so many beautiful places to go.
No, that's it. And again, you have linked this love of travel into your day job, really, with being able to travel as part of the job. It's always nice if you can try and combine those two things you enjoy. I mean, obviously, when you're on work trips, it's not quite as enjoyable as when you're, on the vacations. But at the same time, it's still, seeing different cultures and meeting people, different backgrounds, different challenges, and it keeps the interest and the variety going forward in the right direction. So it's good to hear you've managed to combine the two things, because I think, especially at the moment, with the travel being so challenging, it's something that I think a lot of people are quite keen to get back doing it again. Have you got a holiday lined up for when you're able to travel again? Is there anywhere that's next on your list?
Well, we would love to go to Sicily, so it's rather close by in Europe. And last holiday that we booked there was cancelled. But both my wife and I would love to go to Asia again and discover parts of Indonesia. She's never been to Indonesia. I've been there many times, and also parts of Southern Africa. That's on my bucket list. And my ultimate bucket list is to go to Antarctica sometime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she will not join me.
Okay. A bit too cold, or yeah.
It's too cold.
And I guess when you go away, are you able to completely switch off, or are you one of these people that's still on your iPhone and they're carrying the laptop around doing emails and doing work calls when you're traveling, or are you able to just switch off for that period?
I learned over time that I need to switch off, and occasionally when there are really urgent things, I plan them early in the morning. So while the rest of my company is still asleep, and deal with things then and there, and get back to private life by breakfast time. So that's what I learned to do, although it has been a challenge over the years, but that's how I do today. And what I've also done very recently, Paul, is to actually also get a private mobile phone. So allowing me to switch off the company phone altogether, and really focus on my private life then.
So, I mean, on that point, it's a question we sometimes ask our guests, just to give a bit of an insight into what the kind of things they're into as well. So I was wondering, on your as far as smartphones go, if there were 3 apps on your phone that you couldn't live without, is there any that stand out to you?
I would certainly say WhatsApp. I must say that's very frequently used, not just in private life, but also group apps at work. Stay connected with people, with my 2 sons who are also traveling the world, and one of them is living separately now, and the second one is really the travel booking site. So as I love traveling, I will not mention any brand names now, but I make it a habit of finding the perfect places that surprise me and my family. I'm always accredited by my wife for finding the perfect spots. So that's a very important app for me. Mm-hmm. And of course, LinkedIn is important. So growing older, you discover that you need to reconnect more to that people that you have lived and worked with in the longer past. Mm-hmm. Because at a certain stage you need to reconnect anyway. Yeah. So I've also started doing that more and more over the past few years.
No, it's interesting because I think it's it is one of these things now that you can't escape from, the whole social media and app side of things, and the days of having just random phone calls here and there and meetings tend to not to happen so much anymore, and it's all on as you say on WhatsApp, on email, LinkedIn and so on. So it's just become gradually part of our lives, but it's it's good to also that you you've got that discipline, when you are on the holidays, to be able to get the work bit done at the start of the day, so then you have the good time with your family when you're away, and you can get hopefully the best of both worlds, really. So that's good, and I think that's good advice for everybody listening as well, where you need to be able to switch off from work to then go back at least feeling like you've had a holiday, really. So the last question for you, really, Ron, is that it's linked to Operation Smile, because as mentioned earlier, the show is in connection with Operation Smile, and I thought, given the name of their business, it might be good to just ask you, really, what was the last thing that made you smile, Ron?
Can I mention two things, Paul? One from work and one from private life.
Yeah, sure. It's all good. Yeah. You've been smiling a lot recently, huh?
and basically I'm told to smile all the time, so it's difficult to find an example. When people ask me, why are you smiling so much? I say there's two big reasons. One is I enjoy my company, and I enjoy you as company. That's what makes me smile. And the other thing is, if you look at your paycheck every month, sometimes it's good also to smile more. So anyway, what particularly made me smile most recently at work was having a new management trainee, really setting up an exciting new improvement in a process, saving us millions of euros, and seeing the rewards that they get, and recognition that they get from senior people as well in the business, and that always makes me smile, and also makes them smile, of course. So we smile together. So that's at work, and I also love actually to help them, also to make them smile. In private life, the last time that I really smiled a lot was when I went to an island in the Netherlands. It's called Texel, and the Dutch people will know that island, and it's quite well known for skydiving. I took my two sons and some of their friends, offered them a skydive. When they landed, I saw a huge smile on their face, and being thrilled with the experience, and of course I was smiling because they landed safely.
You know what the next question is going to be. You weren't tempted to get up on the skydiving, no? Not for me. Probably I was smiling more just watching. Yeah, that's it. I don't think that's for me either. It's it's quite I don't think I've got the nerve to jump out, but it's good. Yeah, you were able to smile watching, and your children had a good time doing it, which is really cool. So I think really all that's left for me to say, Ron, is just a huge thank you for spending the time with us today. I mean, I know we've known each other. I think it was probably 2001 when we initially had contact, so for quite a while. Yeah. But I don't think we've ever talked about these kind of things in any of our calls, actually. So that's I feel like I know you more now than I ever have before, and I know the network and the audience will really take a lot from the conversation. So a huge thanks for the time going through this, and obviously, given that we're recording this at the start of December, I hope you have manage to have a great Christmas and see all the family.
Yeah, thank you very much, and see what good questioning leads to. Yeah, and I enjoy. I wish you also a great holiday. And if people want to contact me, by all means, I'm on LinkedIn, so just drop me a message.
Mm-hmm. Now, what we'll do, we'll make sure we add your LinkedIn connection when we put the podcast on there as well, so it's easy for people to connect to you. So we'll make that easy as well. But huge thanks, Ron, and have a good one. And great to speak to you again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you'd like to reach out to Paul or myself, please feel free to send a connection through on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to listen to previous episodes of the podcast, you can find them all at our website, www.emearecruitment.eu.